Alright, today we're stringing a tennis racket. To start off, just things we want to check right away. The string pattern of our racket. So first I'll just count from the middle. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then the 8th, we'll skip the 8th because that'll be a cross. 9, and then there's not a 10th string. So you always just check which strings you're going to skip. So you skip the 8th for this racket. And I always check to make sure it's the same top and bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, skip 8, 9. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, skip 8, 9. So now we know that. Now I'm gonna grab the string that I'm using. I'm just gonna be using Babolat Skin Gut. I'm gonna measure out close to 20 feet with some extra leg room just for comfort, and I'm just gonna do that with my wingspan. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4 wingspans. But 4 full wingspans should give you enough for any racket. And then you cut it at an angle just so then it's able to go through the grommets nice and easy. Then again, we'll need string for the mains and string for the crosses. So I'm going to measure out another 4 wingspans. 1, 2, 3, 4. I suppose you can't even see me. I'm over here measuring this. Now I'm going to grab my clamps. I'm going to just get everything I might need. Clamps, pliers, Allen wrench to loosen this. Take off the knobs. Whoops. Now I'm gonna just quick cut these strings out, and I start from the middle and work my way out. It doesn't really matter how you do it. And then just take all the string out. Now that you've got all your string off, you're gonna line up the center of the racket in between these 2 pegs. Then you're gonna pull it as tight as you can, and then tighten it with this Allen wrench. And then it doesn't really matter which side has what stopper, you just gotta make sure the washer is with the nut and the big knob is by itself. Alright, now to get started, you're gonna check which side has the open grommet. I don't really know what it's called, but which side you go in through first. Since there are 8 openings on the bottom, that means we're gonna start on the top. You get your 2 ends, and you just feed them through this top grommet. And it should go around this middle post. And then you feed through the bottom. You just feed it around that middle peg. And you pull it through. And then just gotta make sure the string is even. So I'm gonna feed the right side through. It doesn't really matter which side you start with. I'm gonna start with the right side. I'm gonna take one of my clamps. I'm gonna clamp it right here. And then I have my drop weight set at 55 pounds. Just 55 is a nice middle number for any racket. You can string any racket at 55 pounds and it should be fine. If someone doesn't tell you what they want it strung at, just assume 55, and if they want it at a different number, just do whatever they say. And now I'm gonna work my way out just a couple more times. You always want to make sure you gotta leave a clip on, or you need to keep tension held on the outside of both ends. So So now that I have tension pulled down here, now, or I have it held with the clip, now I can raise the drop weight. And now I'm actually gonna go on the other side and start working my way out just to get a couple more strings on each side just to keep it even. But yeah, now we're just gonna keep moving our way out. We're gonna pull tension, and clamp it, and now we're gonna tie some knots. So I like cutting, I wanna have just about that much string to work with. Doesn't really matter, 9-10 inches of string, maybe a bit more. Then I'm gonna poke this through just the closest grommet. Sorry, not the closest grommet, the closest main grommet. And sometimes, this is actually a great example, you can't fit both strings through one, because right now we're trying to fit this string through a grommet that already has string there. Then that's when I'm going to take my awl and kind of just jam that through there just to get more space. And actually, this is a good time to show you this. This is, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's just another type of awl. So you can put you jam it through, and because there's a point, and then when you extend that, that'll cover the point. There's a little hole. That's where you're gonna put your string. And then when you pull it back through, then it's just a way that you can get string through like a tight grommet. You poke it through, then you pull back the black bit, then you put your string in the end, then you just pull it back through, and then your string goes through. Now we're going to tie a knot. So I like going down on the right side of the string, up on the left, and I just go back down on the right. You can either pull it tight with just your hands. I like using pliers just to make it easy. And then I'm just going to go again down on the right side, but it's already going down. So then I just go up on the left and back through on the right. Pull that tight, and you can take the clamp off and you cut the string right next to you cut the string short. Now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to cut my string just so I have less to work with. And I measured way too much extra string. There's no need for this much, but I like it just for peace of mind. Yeah, so now put the string through the closest main grommet. Then you go down on the inside of the racket, up on the outside, and then back through. Down on the inside, up on the outside, and pull it back through. Then pull it tight with the pliers. And now we're done with the bolts. And when you're done with the mains, this is a good time for you to grab your cup of coffee. Have a quick sip. Nice. All right. Now we're gonna grab our cross string. So getting started on the crosses it can be confusing. I always start second grommet down. So there's the 8th grommet that we skipped. I'm gonna start on the 10th grommet, okay? So you're gonna poke through, and then you're just gonna weave it over, under, all the way to the other side. And then you're gonna go poke through on the 10th, pull a bit of extra string, just enough so that I'm gonna be able to get it all the way back and have enough to tie a knot. So probably only gonna need, let's see, that should be enough. So now I'm going in on the 8th grommet, and since I started, I have an understring here, so I'm gonna be over on the next one. You really just gotta focus on weaving under, over, and that'll come with time. Started on the 8th grommet for this one, so I poked through on the 8th on this side. This one I started under, so this one will be over, so that means this one right here is gonna have to be under. And over here I ended over, so this one is under, so I have to start over on this one. Now that we did that, I grab my clamp, tighten it, and then I'm clamping this on the outside. So this is just acting as a stopper. You can start with a knot tied, but there was one time that I tied a knot, and then when I pulled tension, it pulled the knot through to the outside of the racket. So that's why I don't do that anymore. So I'm just gonna start right away pulling tension on these 2 strings. So you pull tension here, and I'm gonna place my clamp just right on both strings. And now we're just doing the same thing, but on the crosses. Now we're just working our way down. Here I'm under, so that means I'm gonna be starting over. So whatever's next to it, you're gonna do the opposite. Whatever you start doing is what you're gonna do for the entire racket. So I'm starting over, so I'm gonna be starting over on the entire racket. And just weaving your way across, poke through, pull the string all the way through, and pull tension. As we get closer to the bottom of the racket, this is when you really want to focus on what string you're starting with, like whether you're going over or under. As we lose one string on the mains, that's when it'll flip. So you'll have to start under instead of over. So here I'm still over on this one because we haven't lost the string yet. But you can always just check next to just check with the neighbor. Every intersection should be opposite of the one next to it. Alright, so here, since we skipped grommet number 8 on our mains, now we're poking it through. We're finally using grommet 8, and we'll have to check next to it. Since the one next to it is going over, that means we're going to start under on this one. And it's just because we had to skip that grommet when we were doing the mains. But other than that, it's still just over, under on every single string. There we go. And if you have trouble getting the string through that last grommet, then you just use either one of these, and it'll get you through. Then we're going to cut our string so it's easier to work with. So now I'm going to poke the string through the nearest main, and we're just going to tie this off. Still going down on the inside, up on the outside, and then back through that loop. Just making a nice double knot. Box knot, I don't even know which, square knot, something like that. And now we're going to take this clamp and we're going to clamp the inside up top, so then we can unclamp this. You can tie off the top of the crosses earlier. I just forgot. So now I'm going to poke through this grommet so I can fit this string through. And again, we're going down on the inside, up on the outside, and then tie it off. And then same thing, down on the inside, up on the outside, poke it through and tighten it. And then you cut your string short, cut the tails of your knots off, and then loosen here, loosen at the top, and I just take it off. That's how you string a tennis racket. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. That's how you string a tennis racket. Thanks for watching.